Welcome in to this Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio for Neil over there, going remote this morning, but no big deal. We're here with you. We will discuss Lane Kiffin's press conference from yesterday, which was a very interesting one with a lot of difference of opinion on what he was saying or not saying. So we'll get into that. Neil's already had a little bit of a lot of dress rehearsal with that yesterday during McCready and Siskey, where they had a big old time yesterday after afternoon. He ended AJ McCarron's lieutenant governor candidacy in the process, but otherwise they had a big time yesterday afternoon. So we'll get into that. We'll get into more with you today. Plus, Ole Miss and Memphis tonight from the Pavilion. Oh, Memphis has not won in Oxford since 2004 or 2005, by the way. So they get together there. Ole Miss, I think, a 10.5 point favorite in that game, a step up in competition for both teams. Memphis only has played San Francisco, the Dons to this point, 76-70 winners at home over San Francisco, and then Ole Miss beating up two directional Louisiana teams to date with ULM and Southeastern Louisiana. So all that and more coming up today on the podcast. Podcast brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55. They're out North Mississippi. And if you're coming to town this weekend, make sure you stop in, way out. Everybody's coming to town this weekend, so I don't think they're going to have to worry too much about business. But with Sweet Daddies, you get lunch specials, you get catering that can hook you up with things for the Grove on Saturday. A ton of options there with Blue Sky and Oxford Exxon. Again, Neil is in the Clark Ford studio.
I am Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and you can shop it around if you like. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. I think they've got a deal right now that's pretty good on F-150s. If you're interested in that, might be a good time to get in touch with Corey. Again, 662-257-1900. Guest joined this week on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
What was it about? Was it about 17 minutes between AJ words yesterday on the podcast, something like that? He did not talk there for a while. It felt like maybe his mic had died. He had gone mute. He had to let the dog out. I'm just curious what happened there.
He just melted down, and then he kept looking up, and he'd see me and Tyler's talking about football or whatever, and he'd look up at me, and I'd smile at him, and he'd just start laughing again. It was a very childish moment between the two of us, and I love AJ. I think he's great. Really, really good guy. He's a lot of fun. It was just it was a silly show, man. I mean, it wasn't meant to be silly. We went off the rails. And once we were off the rails, Tyler spent a lot of time trying to get us back on the tracks. And I think we kind of did. I think we got back into ended up having a pretty serious conversation about the whole Kiffin thing and all that. But it was fun. I mean, you know me, man. I mean, I'm out of my element on that show. Those guys watch lots of football and break it down and talk about fourths and stuff. And I'm like, I'll watch the ball. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a football coach. I never was a quarterback in the NFL or anything like that. So I'm a little out of my league there. And so
you're the jester, if you will, in the conversation.
And that's not my best role either. So it's a funny show. I don't know. We were talking about the Kiffin stuff, and I just said what I thought. I mean, which is exactly what I think. And
yes, your PG point was that Keith and Boyce, and they're not just going to roll over and let Lane dictate this all the way through. That was the point you were making here.
Yeah, that was the point I was making, was that, in a world where Ole Miss makes the playoffs and they play on December the 20th, you're going to have to know something before then because of the way the calendar works now. This is a completely different calendar. And there were people yesterday that were like, well, 3 years ago, Auburn waited. I'm like, no, they didn't. They had an answer the week of the damn Iron Bowl. They hired Hugh Freeze 72 hours after the Iron Bowl. He had time to, and that back then there were 2 high school periods. The portal wasn't what it is today. I mean, it's where people struggle with this, and I get it. For whatever reason, I don't struggle with this. Maybe it's because I cover it. If you're going to do historical comparisons, you can't go back very far. With like, what do you do? Even the one about Luke Fickell when he turned Notre Dame down to stay at Cincinnati. It was a totally different deal. It's not a criticism. It just points out it's different. The portal starts January the 2nd. Everyone can get in the portal. The signing period's December the 3rd, Chase. It's December the 3rd. I mean, you can't let these things hang out with ambiguity into the middle of December. You'll run the risk of, and maybe this is okay. Maybe this is a calculated risk and you're willing to take it if you're whoever. But you run the risk of literally not having a roster next year. There is no April period. It's gone. So we're in year 1 of a new era. There's nothing to compare it to. And that's hard for people. And I understand that. I get it. That requires you to. I'm going to come across today like I'm criticizing a lot of people, and I'm actually not criticizing anyone. I empathize with people having difficult times with this, but no, my point, the very PG point was that if you're Glenn Boyce, Keith Carter, who you can't sit back and let that happen. That's in a world where you know he's leaving, you have to get his successor before everybody else gets a chance to pick a coach. The timeline that I laid out, and again, we'll dive into this in a minute. So for the sake of this, you have to assume the following facts, okay? Ole Miss makes the playoff, and they're playing a game on December 19th or 20th. Auburn fills their coaching vacancy. LSU fills their coaching vacancy. Arkansas fills its coaching vacancy. Eli Drinkwitz either leaves or stays. You know what he's doing. In a world where he leaves to go to Penn State, Missouri fills their coaching vacancy. Kentucky does something with Stoops or keeps Stoops, and they fill their coaching vacancy. And you get into December 6th and 7th and 8th, and Florida's sitting over there twiddling its thumbs. We're all going to know the score at that point. They either believe that they are getting him or they're waiting for him. And at that point, if you're Ole Miss, you have to have an answer. Because if you can't run the risk of you play on the 20th and maybe you win. And then you play on the 1st and maybe you lose. I don't know. And you wake up on January the 2nd, the same day that the portal's open, you don't have a coach because your coach bolted for somewhere else. I mean, you just can't do that. That's program. I think you have to put program over season.
And for whatever it's worth, Siski said he expects some type of movement in the next 7 to 10 days, one way or the other. That was his main idea quote.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I buy that. I'm not questioning Tyler or his sources or anything like that because, I mean, I know where he was and I know some of the people that he probably talked to. But I don't know that I buy that. That's 7 to 10 days. If 10 days from right now is the 21st.
The bye week.
I mean, Ole Miss will still be a week away from the Mississippi State game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I buy that, but maybe he's right. I don't know. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just not sure that I completely buy that. That's not me arguing with Tyler. It's just
once we get into that, we're going to go ahead.
I'll finish my thought. And this was my point was, and the part that where I differ from a lot of people is I believe Lane Kiffin's maturation and stuff is legitimate. I think it's real. I think it's genuine. And I just can't, for some reason, I have a difficult time imagining that he gets this team, this program that basically he built to the college football playoffs and all of that entails with a team full of guys that I think he likes. I think he likes this team. I don't think it's his best team, but I think it's becoming one of his favorite teams. They're a little tougher. They're a little more resilient. They don't have many stars. This is kind of a blue collar team, as opposed to last year. There was a star-studded team. This team doesn't have a lot of stars. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss to a degree. No one really talks about Kewan Lacey that much. Nobody really talks about Suntaran Perkins that much. I mean, they're good players, but like nobody. We know they're really good players, but I mean, nationally, people aren't talking about many Ole Miss guys. I have a hard time believing that he walks away before that team plays playoff games so that he can go take another job. I have a hard time believing that he would spend all of this time and energy sort of rebuilding. I mean, even he said he cares about what people think about him. And you're just going to lay waste to that?
Unless in his mind he's finishing the season and then doing it. I mean, I'm just devil's advocate. I mean,
no, that's where you get to the part where
no, it's not his decision. If Lane Kiffin, I mean, again, if people, you're going to have one of those if days. If Lane Kiffin doesn't coach a playoff game, it will not be because Lane Kiffin chose to not coach said playoff game.
Right.
I mean, so.
And that would be the world where Ole Miss would have a really weird decision to make, because I think it would be an incredibly weird look to be the head coach at Florida coaching Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's not Tulane.
No, it's
FAU.
different. It's like take Alex Golish and John Summerall, Tulane, South Florida. I think both of those guys could take an SEC job and finish the job where they are. Be promoting the product. I don't know that you could do that SEC to SEC at any school.
Yeah. When we get on that topic, we're going to be there for a while. So I'm going to shift to basketball to go ahead and knock that out, because otherwise we probably will not get to it. Again, Ole Miss hosting Memphis tonight. It's an 8 o'clock tip, or it's an 8 o'clock scheduled tip, so I don't know, probably not even 8, but a few minutes after 8, somewhere in there. They stay pretty close most of the time.
On the damn nose, tipping the ball at 8.
You want the ref out there waiting for the clock and to go and throw it up in the air.
I want to get all the introductions out of the way. I want the clock to hit 8 and the referee go, let's roll.
And off and running. Let's go.
The faster the better.
Get some good officials that aren't playing hand fouls and hand checks and things. Like, let's go ahead. Let's let it roll.
From your mouth to God's ears.
All right. Again, Ole Miss has won only 4 straight at the Pavilion since Memphis won one. And like I said, 2005, 2004, whatever that was, they really have not played a ton. There was a bit of a Cold War between the programs for a long time there. Remember which Ole Miss AD was it that signed the contract where basketball had the same value as football? And they were like, hey, we'll play Memphis in football if you'll play us in basketball. Which one was that? Was that Bjork or Pete?
I try to forget previous Ole Miss athletics directors. I try to pretend that they just didn't exist. Honestly, I think that was Bjork.
Okay. Remember that? And then was it Pastner who just refused to honor the contract or something? So they didn't play?
Yeah, it seems like that's right.
Is that correct? Okay.
I just try to forget a lot of these things. I really do. I've just discovered that my life's happier if I just pretend that some things.
There are things about those eras where you look back, given how Ole Miss is run now, and go, whoa, that really happened exactly like that. That is how that happened.
Yep.
Where you were horse trading a basketball game for a football game. I mean, in the words of Andy Kennedy, he walked into a contract extension meeting one time, asked for a number, and left with a larger number. And I'm still wondering how that happens, how that works. I don't understand. I would like 1-4. What about 1-6, Andy? Okay, well, sure.
Sure. Yeah. Something tells me AK would not recognize this Ole Miss.
Summer of 2019, Vitter was still around. Bjork was just leaving.
He was. Yes, he was.
Or maybe just before that. How long was Keith in interim? I don't know. Somewhere in there.
I don't know. But I do remember Jeffrey Vitter vividly.
He's an adjunct at Tulane or something now. Is that right?
I don't know. He and I have not spoken since that conversation.
Okay. It's fine.
That was one of those conversations that had life finality in it. This is the last time that he and I will ever speak. There's nothing more to possibly say. We reached an agreement that day and walked away, and that will be the last time that we speak.
Bobblefish, I don't know that Lance Lynn can get me in the booth for a baseball game. I mean, that would be a step up in someone asking, so we can ask that. We do have a podcast with Lance on the site this morning. He's being inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame, so I caught up with him for a little while. Fairly short conversation. He was headed to pick his kids up from school, but we talked 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So that is up at MPW Digital. As I pointed out on the board, I did ask him to finally solve the age-old question if he ever passed the 2-mile mandatory run that was required to play baseball at Ole Miss. You have to do it in under 14 minutes to be eligible. That is a 7-minute mile for the math challenged like myself. And he laughed and said 13:59. And I said, so you just made it. He goes, well, we didn't make it twice at all. We were way off. And he goes, then, Mike and I had a little conversation. And he said, I told Mike that last time I checked, no pitcher has ever run the ball to home plate. So he said, we went with 13:59 and we moved on with our days. And I said, okay, fair enough. I'm glad we have an answer to the conversation now. So,
sometimes in life there are different sets of rules for different people. And sometimes people don't like that. The Meatloaf Monday person doesn't like that, but that's how the real world works. That's how the real world works.
Because there was zero world where Lance Lynn was not going to pitch for Ole Miss because of his 2-mile run time. So, come on.
The reason that Mike has figured out how to be a coach at a place for 20-something years, and that is sometimes you do have to have some flexibility. Sometimes you have to be a little creative, and sometimes you just have to look at things and go, is this really important? Is this the hill I'm willing to die on? And in his case, the answer smartly was no, it is not the hill I'm willing to die on.
The junior utility infielder that was not that had to get it done. Sometimes you shrug and go, sorry, bud. That's the rule. I don't know. But yeah, Lance didn't do it. Well,
it's also one of those things that inside the locker room, people just organically get it. Like nobody goes, this is absurd, man. I mean, he didn't do it. Everybody goes, it's different. He's taking the ball on Friday. Every Friday.
He did say that he kept his grades up after that because if you had a 3.0, you didn't have to do it the subsequent years. So that was one of the things that was moved forward beyond that. But there's
where Mike goes, look, keep the 3.0, right?
I gave you one. Now
give me one. We're good? Okay.
Yeah. One thing you'll find interesting here, and again, I'm not giving the whole I got off subject. I'm sorry. We'll get back on this in a minute. But Lance is really interesting. He's doing a podcast with Matt Holliday and then two other Cardinals, or one other Cardinal. I cannot remember who the other one is off the top of my head, hosted by Jim Hayes. And it's an older podcast that's been sort of rebranded. And I asked him, I said, are you just getting, his wife does podcast and is pretty good at it. I said, are you doing this? What's up? Why are you doing it? And he said, well, he said, I don't mind doing it, but actually it's a favor. He goes, Jim Hayes was great to me during my career. He goes, we were really tight. And he said, I basically told him, I appreciate it. If you ever need a favor, let me know. And he called me and said, hey, I'm doing this podcast and really would want you to be a co-host. And Lance said, I kind of laughed and went, that's what you're calling in your favor on? But sure. So he's got him. And like I said, Matt Holliday and somebody else is doing a Cardinals-centric podcast moving forward. It's called Cardinals Territory. So.
Sounds awesome.
I'm sure you'll tune in every week. You can't wait.
Just love me some Cardinals history, man. Pour it straight into my veins. No, I'm kidding. That's good.
You like Lance way better when he was pitching for the White Sox. All of a sudden, like, hey, yeah, we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie. When he was pitching for the Cardinals, I hope he got his brains beat in. I mean, sorry. I pissed off some people with that too. You should cheer for him because he's Ole Miss. I mean, he's a Cardinal, dude. I don't cheer for anybody that's wearing birds on their shirts. Nope.
Yes, only back on subject. Only 4 games at Tad Smith and the Pavilion since December 17th, 2005, which was the last time Memphis won a game in Oxford in this series. Memphis, Ken Palm has them projected to win 20 games, go 14-4 in the American. Penny seems really concerned with their rebounding. He seems concerned with they got kind of dominated in the second half against San Francisco. Again, 1 game, whatever. I'm not going to break down Memphis and Ole Miss on the podcast, but what do you kind of want to see from Ole Miss tonight with a step up in competition?
Just continued progress with their offense. I am curious to see what the two guard situation looks like if Travis Perry's shots don't fall again. I mean, look, 1 week is a very small sample size. People are like, "Oh, he sucks." No, he doesn't. That's not fair. But shots aren't falling, and if the shots don't fall, you're because they were creating really good looks for him. He took, I think, 4 first half threes the other night against ULM. They were all clean. They were all good looks. He just missed
Just in
them.
rhythm. Yeah, just
Yeah. So if those shots don't fall, what is the next step? Is it Keza Giffa and moving Cameron off the point, which I don't think is what they want to do. I think they want Keza to be a backup point that can let Elias get some rest here and there. That's my opinion. We're 2 games into a very young season. If it's does Patton Pinkins get some extended run because he kind of looks the part, but he is a true freshman coming off of a significant knee injury. So I want to see that. I think there's always a challenge to Malik Dia that is legitimate, which is hit the boards. Like, can you be a more dominant rebounder? Can you go get, instead of 4 boards a game, which is what he's doing now, can you go get 8? Because that's the difference in him being an NBA player and not. Can you be more physical? Can you be more assertive? Can you get to the glass? Can you make that part of your game happen? I want to see AJ Storr, whether he's kind of taken Chris Beard's challenge to heart and getting to the free throw line more. He's doing everything else, man. He's scoring at all 3 levels. He's shooting the 3 ball incredibly well. He's scoring in the mid range. He's getting to the glass. Can you be more assertive and get to the free throw line? Because what we're talking about with this team is, I think this team's really good. And the question is, can this team go from really good to great? Can this team go from really good to elite? And to do that, some of these boxes have to get checked. Does that make sense? I mean, some of these things, if you don't check these boxes and this team stays what it is, it's a really good team. But if this team's going to be a great team, Dia has to be a rebounder. AJ Storr has to get to the free throw line. The 2 guard, whether it's Travis Perry or Patton Pinkins or Eduardo Klafke or whoever, you've got to hit open shots at a 40% clip. I mean, you've got to make those shots. You can't shoot 0 from 3 with your 2 guard and win in a league that includes teams like Tennessee and Alabama and Kentucky and Arkansas and Florida. You're just not. You won't win those games. So I'm curious to see that. Just they turned it over 13 times against ULM. That's not who they are. They forced 15 turnovers. That is who they are. But Ole Miss won a lot of games last year where they were the less talented team, but they protected the basketball. They had multiple games last year where they turned it over 5 times, 6 times. They went halves where they turned it over once. Like, it was incredible, and that's how they won those games. I think this team's more talented than last year's team, but they're going to have to pick up some of those traits because, look, I'm just going to use the 2 teams that I watched a little bit over the weekend. Alabama, Arkansas, when you watch those 2 teams, their athleticism pops off the page, especially in the backcourt. Long, athletic guards that are going to give people problems. And I'm sure Memphis, I don't know their personnel. I suspect Memphis's personnel is easily the best personnel that Ole Miss has played so far. And I am curious to see Elias Cameron go up against a physical guard who has some size. And then I want to see Elias on the defensive end against a guard that attacks, because so far he really hasn't played that guy.
It's all true in Ole Miss. Yeah. Ken Palm giving Ole Miss a 75% chance tonight. And this one, for whatever that's worth, they get a couple layups. Bakersfield on Friday, again, last Tad game. And then Austin P on the 18th prior to the trip to Palm Desert, Palm Springs, wherever that's at. against Iowa, 58% in that one. They get a game against Utah or Grand Canyon after that. And then Miami at home for the Ole Miss, the SEC ACC Challenge, 76% on that one. And then the big road trip to Madison Square Garden to face St. John's on December the 6th.
And St. John's is really good. I mean, look, they went back and forth with Bama. They're a good team. Iowa's a good team so far. They look solid. This team's, we're going to find out a lot in the next month. I mean, it's crazy to feel that way, like, because we're doing all this Kiffin stuff day in and day out, and there's a football team that I think is going to the playoffs. We got all this stuff going on, but we're going to know a lot about this basketball team in a month. That Iowa game's a big game because they would love to play Utah the next night. Nothing against Grand Canyon, but Utah's going to be a solid team from a net standpoint and all that. There's some big games coming. I think tonight's. I'm not saying tonight's not some must-win deal, but we'll learn a lot. They've had
tonight's a game you should win. No, I mean, come on, yeah, you should win this game at home.
No, you should win, and they've had 72 hours. I just want to see where the improvement comes. Like, I know where the challenges are coming from. I know what he's challenging them to do. It's pretty evident. And the Travis Perry thing is interesting because if Chris is right, and he's sitting up at the podium post game here soon after making 4 or 5 threes, man, if he's going to make threes, this team's going to be a tough out. If he's not going to make threes and he's going to take his bat to the field, which is kind of what he's doing right now, they've got to reevaluate that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at some point you got to go, hey, maybe this doesn't work the way we thought it would work. It's time to adjust on the fly. And there's not like this, oh, well, that's obviously the answer. But if I see it, I can't believe that Chris doesn't see it. And that's, man, Patton Pinkins is intriguing. Like, yes. I wonder what he would look like getting some run with a lineup that included Camerdine and Storr and Dia and James Scott.
Yeah.
Would he get those same open looks? He's probably a better defender. He certainly gives you some more size, some more length, lets you get more arms in passing lanes. Opposing offenses have kind of hunted Travis Perry early in the season. And maybe they would hunt Patton too, but I'm just curious. But it's super early. They've played Southeastern Louisiana and ULM, 2 teams that aren't going to be in the tournament in March, right? So we're gonna start playing teams tonight where you'll find out, okay, this is what it looks like against a team that has legitimate tournament aspirations. That starts here soon, and then I don't know anything about Austin Peay, but after Austin Peay, the games start getting real. Iowa, potentially Utah, Miami, St. John's. You're gonna play some teams that have the ability to hurt you, to test you, to expose you, and so that's good. They want to get exposed some because the league's a bitch. I'm just going to let you know that there's some just people out there need to understand that nobody's running the table in this league. I mean, not even close to it. There's some really good teams, like Alabama's guard play with Phelon and Witzel and some of those cats. Whew. I mean, you'll have to bring it. That's where it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see because Camerdine looks the part. He's talked about making the adjustment to the American game. He obviously sees the floor incredibly well. His floor game is elite, but when he goes up against some of these SEC guards, this is going to be a different experience for him. And I'm curious to see how I think he'll adjust really well. But it'll be fun to watch. This team's you really see it in basketball. Maybe baseball too, I think to some degree, but in basketball, you really see growth as chemistry happens. And as teams get exposed and teams get scouted and people start attacking weak spots, we're not far from that.
Yeah. Bryce Drew, the head coach at Grand Canyon, so Ole Miss could get reunited with him. Obviously saw him at Vanderbilt a few years ago. Podcast brought to you in part by NeSpark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That's AnySpark.com. AnySpark, get connected. Stay local.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great people, products, and services. You may have noticed it's gotten cold out a little bit. It's going to warm back up. You're going to forget all about it for a few days, but this is a sign of things to come. If you haven't tested the heater, you need to get those guys out and make sure it's good to go, because at some point you're going to want to use it. And if you have a problem, you'd rather know it ahead of time than at the time. So if you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, those areas, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, Olive Branch, call Southern 662-429-4429. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered, proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to the pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention Rebels 24/7 or MPW Digital. Get 50% off your first order. We're brought to you by ENT Physicians of North Mississippi, as the largest private ENT practice in the state. Their goal is simple: delivering fast, expert, and comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team, offering a full range of services from hearing aids and custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians of North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care. They now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
Podcast also brought to you by the Jackson Graber Group, GMFS Mortgage. John Graber here in Oxford, local trusted mortgage lender. Help all home buyers with first home, new construction, refinancing. Also got great condo financing, which I'm about to start telling you about in detail. Graduated from Oxford High, Ole Miss alum, local in-house processing, underwriting, servicing, and construction. Wide range of loan options, conventional FHA, VA, USDA, and more. So that is gmfsmortgage.com/JGG, 662-762-4502. Already put a link in the stream today for some Horn Legend Realtree gear. Neil and I both have worn those hoodies over the last couple days. Sure, we'll probably both have something on tonight at the Pavilion for Ole Miss and Memphis, and you can get yours too. Tons of options, especially as the cold weather has kicked in. That is hornlegend.com. Click MPW Digital in the drop down. We would appreciate that. And they have a good bit of Grove Collective gear if you're looking for that option. Florida's fan base has now found my Twitter, so I need to log off that for the day this morning. I posted a story this morning saying that Ole Miss was top 10 nationally in filling up its football stadium. So you're talking about capacity, attendance capacity or whatnot. They are second in the SEC behind Oklahoma. Ole Miss to date has filled up its stadium to a 103.96 capacity. That is paid attendance versus what your stadium holds. The top 10 nationally is Appalachian State, Oregon, SMU, Kennesaw State, Kansas State, Oklahoma, just ahead of Ole Miss, 104.2. Ole Miss, BYU, Louisiana Lafayette, and Michigan is the list. Ole Miss has had two of their top 10 crowds in school history this season. They had their fourth largest crowd on September 27th when they beat LSU. I have the date wrong there. I need to go back and change that. And then South Carolina was the seventh largest crowd when they played them on November 1st. I expect this weekend to also be in that. The top 10 crowds in school history are all since the start of 2023, by the way. So little almost 3 seasons. Ole Miss 20-1 in its last 21 games at Vaught Hemingway. But yes, the Florida people who absolutely suck in every way now have just completely commandeered my Twitter for the day. So it's great.
What are they doing?
Well, here's what gets me is like, okay, use your stereotypes because you're probably going to be right on them. But Florida fans using this one to talk about someone else. This is rich. Okay, this is my favorite.
All right.
Let's see. Let me find it. Well, we're doing the whole your stadium could fit in mine thing. Blah 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 blah. And apparently now we're arguing that a Florida fan came back with a comeback saying that he is successful in life because he owns a couple jet skis. That's my favorite. Is we got jet ski purchases now on Twitter.
I mean,
as proof.
If you own a couple of jets, that's one thing. If you own a couple of skis, that's another thing. And a jet ski, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my Sudo collection shows that I am.
Let me show you my baseball cards.
Yeah, right.
Wait, what are we doing? Dungeons and Dragons? What are you doing?
Oh, these people.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm going to put a thread on the board that goes, I'm doing a Q&A thing with the Swamp 247 people. They've asked me my 5 questions. I'm going to answer them and send 5 questions back. What questions would you like for me to ask?
Neil,
I don't have a question. I
have no idea how many people watch it, but I've got to go talk about this on television in a minute. Like it's going to keep. Oh my God, my Twitter. I'm done. I'm done. Whew. Anyway, has somebody literally started putting 4-wheeler pictures of what they own in my Twitter now?
I don't know. I'm unable to kind of access your replies and stuff.
That AR pistol has $7K wrapped up in it, and it's my truck gun. I got more money and toys than the average person's house. We ain't the same.
Well, how does he know what toys you have?
He's not talking to me. He's arguing with some other Ole Miss fan in the thing. It is not directed at me.
Gotcha.
Yes. He apparently is a gamer too. That's what's in his Twitter handle.
Makes sense. That fits.
I'm telling you, Lane, drink, fish, whomever. I can't wait to be so happy when they lose football games. I mean, just thrilled. Moving forward. Can't wait. Okay. Ole Miss separated from soccer coach Molly Rouse yesterday, by the way. I did not act like a jerk on the message board and say football coach, no longer with the Rebels, but
no,
I was doing a podcast.
There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Just own this. It was a missed opportunity on your part. It was bad. I expected better from you. You have much better trolling capacity and capability than what you were thrown a hanging curveball and you absolutely swung through it. You missed. It's okay.
I didn't even swing at it. I just let it cross the plate and went, wow, froze me.
Fair enough. There you go. It was a missed, an incredible missed opportunity on your part. You could have hit that thing out into the ocean, and instead you watched it go by, and it's okay. I'm disappointed, but I'm getting over it a day later. Breaking Ole Miss launches coaching search was just in front of you, and you didn't do it. And I don't know whether to be more mad that you didn't do it or that you didn't leave it for me to do. It just I told you I was over it. I'm not quite over it. I'm not quite past it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to forgive. But right now, it's tough.
Do you have a hot board ready?
I have thought about it, yes. But no, okay. I do not. There's an honest answer.
I meant soccer.
I did too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
uh,
I wouldn't know where to start.
with the soccer hot board, now I would call a
Yeah.
couple of soccer coaches that I know and go give me some names.
Mm. Oh, you know one?
I do know one.
Okay.
I know an SEC soccer coach pretty well.
I know. Yeah.
It's like that deal. I will say this. It's the real problem. In all seriousness, for just a quick second on college soccer, the people that played in a program care about it. The people that built a program, players, care about it. Where it goes, they put a lot of sweat equity into it. Literally, when you play soccer in Mississippi, you sweat a lot. And they put a lot of sweat equity to it. And then you watch it deteriorate, and it's quite frustrating. On the other side, I completely understand Ole Miss looking at the whole totality of intercollegiate athletics today and going, we can't justify spending a lot of money on this. It's hard. It is. This is complicated.
We've talked about this. Is if you're Ole Miss, I don't know exactly where they are, but they're 13th, whatever, in a budget in the SEC, somewhere in that realm. I mean, you live in a nice neighborhood, but you don't have the biggest house by far in the neighborhood, and you can't be top half of the league in resources in every single sport. The math simply will not math in that way, and there are some sports that you have priorities for. It just is what it is. Yeah, it's not. It's the problem with where we are in college athletics, though, because the pain is coming. Kind of like yesterday, we were talking about Louisiana Lafayette, and they had all those job balls. I mean, Mike Bianco told me back in the day, the first ones will be advisors and training staff that are sport specific, and you are seeing that come true. He was correct. That is starting to get popped all over the place right now on the first layoffs and firings and all those things from those positions. So, yep.
The next thing at those programs will be they'll start cutting programs. You'll just start cutting them. They'll just go, we can't do it. We it's not even a matter of we don't want to do it. It's we can't do it. And when they kill those programs, people are going to lose opportunities. And it's where we're going. And it's inevitable. And when it happens, there's going to be people that really push back really hard with, I can't believe you're letting this happen. It's money. I mean, I can't walk into the Mercedes dealership today and go, hey, I want a Mercedes, but I want to pay for a Hyundai.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, well, tough. I mean, that's not how it works.
A couple different super chats from Andre. Appreciate you as always. One of our out-of-state listeners got a lot of questions about LSU. And we ever get to the bottom of the monkey situation that happened down there? Chase, let me know about the books. I will do that. Let you know in DMs. And then he says, Neil, the Pacers are in the toilet. Also came back to say, I've been to Talladega. Is that flex? Yes, that is very much one of the flex that is that is the type flex that is going on in my X right now. That is 100% true. So.
Yeah, I mean the Pacers struggles were predictable. I mean, you lose Tyrese Halliburton to an Achilles, and you lose one of your best post players to a rival. You're going to fall off. They have. That's got to be difficult. You were 2 quarters away from winning an NBA title, and now you're a lottery team.
All right, we've been all around it. Again, you guys talked about it a good bit yesterday. I do expect, or I would suggest people listen to a good bit of McCready and Siskey. You guys started this conversation really around the 45-minute mark, something like that, yesterday, with this portion. But Lane, it's funny. I've kind of, I don't know if soften's the word. I've changed a little bit. You and I talked right after the press conference, and I thought that his messaging was weird. At first blush. I thought that he had mentioned things for the first time, which raised my antenna because Lane Kiffin has been a captain of this is a new era. This is not what it was. The Blue Bloods don't have the staying power they did, all those type of things. And that's been the consistent message over and over and over and over again. And I was thrown for a bit of a loop simply because he had never mentioned Heisman's and stadium size as factors in kids' decisions. Frankly, in the last 2 to 3 years at least, that just has never come up. And I thought on Florida week of all weeks, that's odd to me. And I put probably too much stock in it off the top. I talked to you, talked to some other people, did some sourcing stuff, and got kind of back from most everybody that they felt like he was honest, trying to weigh both sides at the same time in his head a little bit, and that he handled what ended up being, or not what ended up being, what was very fair, respectful questions as honestly as he probably could have. Because what I will disagree with the message board, and it's what frustrated me yesterday, is I know it's emotional and I know everybody is doing the, oh my God, it has to mean this. But that yesterday was not one of either thing. It was not, oh my God, I'm mentioning Heisman, so I'm 100% going to Florida. And it was not, oh, Lane's just the troll. He was trolling Florida and it's nothing to see here. And he is not going, period. I'm going to put my head in the sand, bury it, and just tell you to shut up. It was neither one of those things. I think it was a man who was a little thrown off by the questions. I think he lost a little media training in moments there because he was not anticipating those questions. And I think for the most part, he just gave an honest answer.
Yeah, so I have a lot. Just cut me off when you need to. I was in the room. Obviously, I was one of the probably 3 people that was asking him about Florida without trying to be. There was no, it was actually I was kind of proud of it, the whole thing, not just me or whatever, but like all of us. Because everybody loves to criticize media, and we deserve it most of the time. But people go, y'all never ask any hard questions. And you're like, well, that's not really true. But this is a weird game, weird spot. It's a huge game. It's one that, frankly, is inexcusable for Ole Miss to lose. Just inexcusable. I anticipate an electric atmosphere. It's going to be, if the weather holds, the forecast holds, it's going to actually be the perfect day. The sun's going to go down and the game's going to start. And I mean, you're playing a crippled team that just quit last week. You should win handedly. It should end up being a big celebration. And yet this thing hangs over it. And yesterday you saw Sam Hutchins, Michael Katz, and me all ask questions without being like, hey, gotcha, this is a gotcha question, or we're pinning you down. There was no emotion in the questions. It wasn't like, hey man, what do you do? Well, how could you? None of that. And so I think you're right. I don't think he expected it. And then he got questions posed in a way that were asked where there was no yes, no answer. And he, like, I think you're right. He kind of got off his media training a little bit. But I think what you saw is a human. I mean, he's a person. And he's got this decision, obviously, that's looming over him. And I don't know how far down the road he's gone with talking to people. His answer yesterday was, I'm not that far down the road. And I actually believed him. I actually believe that to be factual. I think it's a couple of things. He's built this thing at Ole Miss the last 6 years, and it's been work, And so he's put a lot of work into it, and I'm sure that there's a part of him that goes, this has been hard. And so he looks at Lane's almost 51 years old, 50 and a half years old. So he's a little younger than me. But we both kind of grew up in an era when Florida was a big job. And he married, Layla's dad, John, was one of the great Florida quarterbacks. I'm sure he's very familiar with Florida's tradition and history and whatnot. And here he is with these, I think, 2 jobs that he could have if he wanted them, Florida and LSU. 2 jobs that if you had told Lane Kiffin in 2018 he'll be the head coach at Florida or the head coach at LSU, he would go, Oh my God. I mean, what a decision. He wouldn't have even thought that there'd be a third element to that decision. And yet here we are, where I think he knows what he's built. I think everything he said over the last, I keep people going, if he leaves, if he leaves, it's a sign that he's a fraud. It's a sign that everything he said is BS. I disagree with that completely. I understand that sentiment. I just think that's wrong. I really do. I think he looks at what he's built, and he's struggling with the mindset from an era that I believe to be gone, but I understand where he's coming from, where no coach in his right mind in 2015 would have turned down Florida for Ole Miss or LSU for Ole Miss. And yet here we are. And then at the end of the press conference, Karis Chambliss asked him a question about Knox and about, watching the games and do you help him prep and all that. And he gave a dad answer, and I followed up with, is it hard for you being a football coach, watching a football game, to just be dad? Right? I mean, that's hard because he knows the game really, really well. It's not like me watching Carson play soccer where I don't know anything about soccer. I'm just cheering. He knows, and he gave an answer that was I thought it was profound, actually, in a lot of ways. And he talked about how blessed that they are, that all the things have come together here the way that they have. And I walked away from that press conference, and then you were kind enough to send me a transcription, and I listened to it as I was kind of fixing the transcription. And so I ended up hearing him 3 times, and I walked away last night going, this is a person who's torn. This is complicated.
Yeah, a couple things on that real quick. It's not our system. Somebody said just exit and come back in if you're not hearing every word. It is a YouTube issue. Our system is full go. We have no problems whatsoever. So just do that if you can hear me talk. Go out, come back in, you'll be fine. But it is completely YouTube. The audio version of this for a podcast will not have a problem either. Yeah, I've got a couple thoughts on that. I'll go to a quick break and I'll come back because I don't want to get. If we have a natural break, it makes sense. So we'll come back. Yeah, let me put this in the stream real quick. Exit and come back if you're having issues. Okay. Take a quick break, tell you about the firm that is in Oxford, Mississippi, that sponsor our internship program. More coming from those people, our students. We really appreciate this week, and the firm appreciate them too. They're a proud Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance agency partner, founded by Ole Miss alum Brian Hayden. They service the entire Southeastern Conference. They let their team of licensed professionals review your insurance needs and put together coverages to protect you and your family without breaking the bank. Schedule a consultation by calling 662-236-1101 or emailing staff@thefirmsouth.com. That's 662-236-1101, staff@thefirmsouth.com. I did not know Neil left, so I will continue to talk. Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSeat, food prescriptions, same time each month, and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So again, whether it is in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222.
We're brought to you by Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a 4th-generation jeweler. They're located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. Listen, if you're coming up here this weekend, got basketball on Friday night. Obviously, the Grove on Saturday, the Florida game Saturday night. You need to make, if you're starting on your Christmas shopping and jewelry's on your list, you need to make Arnett's a part of your weekend. Stop in, make sure you tell them that you heard about them here on the podcast. They'll take great care of you. Whatever jewelry need you have for gifts and whatnot, they can take care of you at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. It's a red game on Saturday. Fans are advised or asked to wear red, and the College Corner's got you taken care of. They got quarter zips, hoodies, jackets, polos, tees. It's going to be, I think, 72 during the daytime and then dropping into the 50s at night. It's kind of perfect weather for quarter zips or hoodies or whatnot. They got all the brands you know and love at the College Corner. Nike, Horn Legend, Champion, Antigua, 2 locations in Jackson as well, and then you can always shop online at collegecornerstore.com. Brought to you by Kaiser Flooring. Kick up the cozy in your home this season with new floors from Kaiser Flooring, a certified installers. They're proud to offer a wide range of options, including heated tile. In fact, did you know that they even build showers, offering a lifetime warranty against leaking? Wherever you stand in your home, stand confidently thanks to the specialist at Kaiser Flooring. Visit Kaiser Flooring in Oxford or Batesville, or check them out online at kaiserflooring.com. Since its inception in 1873, speaking of tailgating, you can make this a part of your tailgate. Coors Banquet has been brewed in the same tradition of the original 150-year-old recipe. Banquet is crafted with 100% Rocky Mountain water, so when you're enjoying a Coors Banquet, you are drinking history. It's perfect for a Saturday afternoon as you get ready to head over to Vaught Hemingway. Have you a couple of Coors that'll get you feeling. What does Tyler say? Get you feeling right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right for Saturday afternoon. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Chicory Market and Johnston Hill Creamery. Johnston Hill Creamery located inside Chicory Market. And hey, it's Tuesday. Florida's this weekend. Is going to be a crowd. Going to have people walking by in the Grove for your tailgates. So add a little extra, or just give them one of your ways to give to your business this weekend. They would hook you up. They got sandwiches. They got charcuterie trays. They got grazing trays. They got crudité, sandwiches, desserts. So many different options there with Johnston Hill Creamery. And you can make that order today. So go to the website. See what they have to offer. They feed 20, 40, 60 with their packages, or just pick up a little extra food if you need a little more for this weekend. And then also Chicory Market, we talked about the Thanksgiving menu they have available November 21st, the deadline on that, so get after that. And then also they have added one of these supper clubs for New Year's Eve. Supper clubs have been really popular. Most have sold out this football season. Heard great things. I've done several of them. Now they've added one for New Year's Eve as well, so you can find that at chicorymarket.com. No, I have never been on Jacob Hester's radio show. He's involved a good bit with the LSU pregame stuff, and I've done that the last several years, but I have not done his radio show. Back to what Neil was talking about in a second. First, we did have 2 SEC games last night. Iowa State knocks off Mississippi State 96-80 in like South Dakota or somewhere last night. That game was somewhere odd. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And then LSU ran past UNO 93-58 tonight. Ole Miss, Memphis, Florida State. Florida is tonight. Florida an 18.5-point favorite at home against the Seminoles in the O'Connell Center. Kentucky Louisville is tonight. And did I see that right, that Mark Pope is not coaching because he has jury duty? Is that true?
I don't know that.
Okay, maybe that was a complete joke, but somebody said that, and I don't know. But
I had a very Lane Kiffin centric day yesterday. I'm out of touch with most everything else.
Okay.
I mean,
oh, he could have had jury duty, but apparently he was able to avoid it. There's threads all over the internet saying he had to find out about his jury duty fate, but that he will be in attendance for Louisville, Kentucky.
Something tells me that Mark Pope could look at the judge and say, "Hey, I'm the Kentucky basketball coach," and he'd say, "Dismissed. Go win." I just don't know that was a real story. I mean, I coach Kentucky basketball. We have a game against Louisville tomorrow. I need to go.
Well, maybe he has a Louisville judge.
It's possible.
He goes, "No, Mark. Boy Dyer business right here. You're in." Those are the only games of any consequence. There's some bye games on the schedule as well. Auburn hosts your boys from Wofford tonight.
Oh, do they?
Go Terriers.
Matt Browning asked me, Neil, could you imagine having jury duty during a point period if Lane leaves? Yes, I could imagine. I have been there the day that Andy Kennedy was announcing his resignation. I knew it was coming, was prepared for it, and yet was literally at jury duty in the process of being selected for a jury. Yes, I know. I was attempting to get thrown out the entire day so that I could go work, and I was unsuccessful.
Yeah, Neil called me and he had to be back up there in several hours. I ended up going to the Pavilion for Andy's press conference, and then we were discussing strategy because of your being held captive by the justice system. So
We literally did a hot board over the phone during my
we did.
1 hour, my lunch break from jury duty.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, Neil thinks it's psychotic to be bald by choice.
It is absolutely.
Thanks.
That's why I don't trust Mark Pope. I'm sure he's a nice person, but I don't trust him at all.
Yeah, as I've said, I need my Kentucky coach to be a Bond villain. I don't like nice people being Kentucky's basketball coach. That's important to me.
I mean, nobody goes, you know what? I have a head full of hair, but I'm going to shave it off. Nope. Nope. See, it's
Yeah, a
not.
couple.
Like I said yesterday on McCready and Siskey, this is why this Vanderbilt thing is important. This Vanderbilt football season is important. Clark Lee this is collecting a win for all of us. And Mark Pope doesn't get to enjoy this. He doesn't get to celebrate this. He doesn't get to be a part of this. No. This is
He's not invited to the club.
no, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Clark is doing this for all of us. We're celebrating in this moment. It was a big.
What do y'all have? Like a Bruce Willis totem pole at the front that y'all like bow to?
Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
Okay.
You bow to Bruce Willis in his prime. Bruce Willis. Yeah, you. That's you don't get to just join the fraternity.
Okay.
This is a fraternity that nobody wants to be a part of, but once you're a part of it, you embrace the others.
You earn it. Yes.
Show your gold, anchor down. Big couple of weeks from my guy Clark. Opportunity to represent all of us on the biggest stage. Everybody can't look like Lane Kiffin.
You hit a good point. You could tell a voice and inflection change with Lane talking about Knox yesterday. I mean, his voice changed, everything changed.
His eyes changed.
That was as sincere of an answer, to the point that at the end, I think he was having to fight getting choked up when he said, I'm glad everything we were able to get here, or it worked out. However he ended it and phrased it at that point. It was really compelling from a quote standpoint.
I mean, it's why I it's one of the things with some of the Florida people that like drive me crazy is that they refuse to understand that, like, it's really dense, honestly. Like, some of you people are morons. I can't even imagine what your real life is like. You must have the existence of a sloth. I mean, it's unbelievable how stupid you are. He's a human being. I mean, he talks about being on the sideline. I mean, think about this from his perspective. And just a few years ago, he's here. He's completely by himself in this town. Knows no one. His family's scattered back in California. He's in Oxford, Mississippi. I guess his dad was here, but just it wasn't a lot here. His life was sort of chaotic, I think he would admit. And then COVID hits, and suddenly you're back in Boca as the Ole Miss coach, and you don't think he didn't think there was going to be a season. And so all of a sudden, nope, we're going to have a season. It's like, okay, well, let's throw this thing together. And, they did. I mean, that's where Jeff Lebby and DJ Durkin did a great job of kind of keeping things based a little bit while he got back. And then he looks up 5 years later, and his daughter's here. His son's here. His son's I guess one of the starting quarterbacks, or the starting quarterback for a team that's going into the playoffs. And he looks on the sidelines, and his daughter's standing there holding the Knox face sign, and 3 of his players are on the sideline cheering for his son. And is Kevin Smith, who's been with him for a long time, his son's out there catching 3 touchdown passes. And I mean, I wrote this. I think I wrote it. I don't remember. Maybe
you wrote it, because I mean, you're exactly right as you said it. It was my mind went to painting a picture, but you put it in more specific terms. Yes,
I said it was kind of like a Rockwell painting married a Hallmark movie and had a child. I mean, it's like you'd go, this is impossible. And so the Florida people are just act like there's nothing to this other than the size of the stadium. Whew. Man, have a little depth. Just a shade of depth.
None. Not zero. No depth.
I mean, man,
no
oh,
depth,
man.
sir.
I mean, and people go, well, how could he walk away from that? I'm like, well, he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't walked away from it. He hasn't. But he's got an offer, obviously, that's either forthcoming or on the table that he feels like he has to at least consider. And that probably in a different era in his life, it would have been an absolute no-brainer. I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean, I just think I don't know what's to come, right? I mean, we're obviously in a world where Ole Miss wins by 15.5 points on Saturday. He's going to wake up on Sunday, and they're not going to be initially turning the page. I mean, you're not going to do 13 days of prep for state. I mean, it doesn't work like that. Next week's going to be an open date, and he's going to have some real time to think. Maybe listen. I don't know. And at some point, I think Ole Miss is going to say, hey, we need to know something. You've built this thing, and we couldn't be more appreciative, and we desperately want you to stay, and we'll prove it to you in as many ways as we can. But in a world where you're not, we've got to move on. And that's where the whole playoff thing gets really weird and problematic. And I keep coming back to that. Every time I talk myself through this, I go, but the playoffs. I go back to what I said the week of the Oklahoma game, Chase, where I said I thought that was potentially the most consequential game Ole Miss that Lane Kiffin had coached at Ole Miss, and I think I nailed it.
I agree, because you're in a totally different world right now. Totally different.
Had they lost to Oklahoma, we're having a different conversation today. I mean, yeah, we'd be trying to figure out a way that 10-2 Ole Miss gets in, and maybe they would, but it wouldn't be automatic. And I think he might have walked off that field in Oklahoma going, it's just too hard. But he didn't. He won that game. And now, I mean, they're a real chance. This team goes 11-1. A real chance this team's the 5. Hell, they might be the 4. I mean, I can paint you a scenario where they get to 4. Georgia loses to Georgia Tech. Alabama loses to Auburn. And then Alabama loses the SEC championship game. And you go, are they even in? But a 3-loss Bama's not a top 4 team. I mean, there's a lot that's left. I mean, weird stuff could happen. A&M could lose twice. A&M could lose to Texas and then lose to Alabama and get in as the 9. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. It's not unrealistic.
He had the number 2 roster in college football last year. Probably. That's what he had last year.
Yeah, and that's the part that I think there are people in his life who say this to him, and I think he knows it. He built it. I mean, but the what he has at Ole Miss is incredible program synergy. President, AD, collective. The fans are in. You wrote the story this morning. You're going to see it on Saturday. You're going to see it Saturday. My God, it's going to be a freaking zoo. I mean, I can't even imagine what the Grove will look like on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, good God.
I mean, I won't see it. I don't know. But in my mind, I just picture
yes, that.
Yeah. Basically a concert, right? Like Woodstock. I mean, that's what I picture in my mind is just humanity. I can't even imagine.
No, it just, I mean, somebody said in the stream earlier, I mean, again, he might go. I have no idea.
Sure.
And maybe his history, but it would be against everything he has said about the change in dynamics. Florida has more losing seasons than Ole Miss over the last 10 years. They have fewer successful seasons over the last 10 years. Their administration and their collective is a train wreck. They got the Jaden Rashada thing going on still to some extent. They got all these different things. They got Condren who won't shut up at any point in the process. And yet, I mean, you would be doing it defying everything about the current situations, because it's where I continue to come to is I don't care what every Florida person out there says, and I'm like, they go ahead, come take the Twitter over. It's not a better job than Ole Miss today. It's just not, and I'm not sure it's that close, because a job in the SEC is only good or bad or anything with the synergy that is available between those 4 to 5, 6 people that you're talking about, coach, foundation, AD, chancellor, all that stuff, and the amount of money that's coming into the program. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
Florida's not Alabama right now.
Indiana is number 2 in the freaking country, and they're good.
Well, and I asked him about that yesterday. That was my question. I said, you look at the current landscape and Indiana's win. Look, Indiana went to the playoffs last year. Yeah, I know they got throttled. They were in the field, and they're going back again this year unless they just absolutely choke. And I can't.
And they're better this year than last year.
So Indiana's going to the playoffs 2 years in a row. You look around what Brent Key's done at Georgia Tech. We could make multiple examples. What Lane Kiffin's done at Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss has never won like this before. Not since the Vault era, and I don't remember what that was. I'm not criticizing it or anything. I don't know.
Ole Miss has not been 9-1 since 1962.
I mean, the Kennedy administration.
Yes.
And I mean, assuming one more win, and I think that's safe. This is what 4 of the last 5 years they would have won 10 games or more.
That's correct. 21, 23, 24, 25.
I mean, potentially 2 of the last 3 years they will have won 11 games.
Yes.
I mean, you're in pretty rarefied air at that point. I mean, the only people that are doing anything like this are the Georgias and Ohio States of the world.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's the weird part is like people say you can't win at Ole Miss. Okay. He's doing it. You can't make the playoffs at Ole Miss. Well, he's appears to be doing it. At some point, it's wrong because you did. Like, nobody goes, well, you can't win at Indiana. They're doing it. I did think the thing where he talked about, I think he was talking about Major League Baseball teams, right? About, there's a look who wins and look who doesn't. And,
Yeah, he did a Dodgers comparison, basically.
I mean, I was like, and I wrote this, and I don't know the answer to this. Like, does he see, when he looks at Florida, does he see the Yankees, the Dodgers? When
yeah, because that was the most, if you went into it with a negative mindset that he's leaving, that was by far the most damning sentence, was he goes, yeah, the other teams can win occasionally, but at the end of the day, the bigger place just wins.
But,
and threw his hands up.
When he says that, is he referencing Vanderbilt or is he referencing Ole Miss? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Does he view Ole Miss as the Pirates or does he view Ole Miss as the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
I mean, are you a mid-market team or are you a small market team? Are you the Brewers? Are you the Diamondbacks or are you the Dodgers? I don't know. I don't know how he views that. I don't think Lane watches a lot of Major League Baseball. I don't think if I asked him, hey, list the 30 franchises from top to bottom in terms of payroll, I don't know that he'd do great.
No.
I asked him back in the NCAA tournament, I said, do you watch much NBA? And he goes, no, I don't watch it at all, which surprised me because he always talks about Kobe and the Lakers and stuff. But, I don't think he's super familiar with like how NBA salary caps work.
Yeah.
And look, we're moving into an era, and he kind of referenced this yesterday. Nobody really knows what's next, Chase. Like, is the rev share thing going to be a cap? Is it going to be a firm cap? Are you going to be able to get it? Walker Jones talked about this. Are you going to be able to get NIL through Deloitte? Is it going to privatize? What is it all going to look like? The truth is nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what's coming. People have educated guesses, but nobody knows for sure what the landscape's going to look like in 2 years.
Yes.
And yet, one thing he does know is that, I mean, Landry's got another year of college. Knox has 2 more years of high school. And this is the dad part. I can remember this with my kids, like, stuff got weird for us in 2016. And I remember telling Laura, we should move. Like, this is not going to be a happy place. People hate us. And one of the things that just stopped it in its tracks was the girls are happy here. Caroline just made the dance team. Campbell's got her friends. We can't move now. Can't do this to them. We're just going to suck it up, And so moving's hard when your kids are that age. Moving when Campbell was in the second grade was easy. It's easy to move your kids when they're in elementary school. They're gonna make new friends. Oh, you like baseball? I like baseball. We're best friends. It doesn't happen like that in high school. It's a little more complicated. So I don't know. I don't know what's coming. I still lean towards him staying for two reasons. One is family, and then two is just the timing is so screwed up. If you're 50-50 on it and you're like, but I do want to coach this team through the playoffs. Well, I know I'm being repetitive here, but I think it's worth repeating. Let's give Ole Miss the 5 seed. Or let's give them the 6. Let's give them the 6, Chase. Okay, let's give them the 6. They're the 6 seed. They play at home on December the 20th against fill in your ACC team of choice, and they win the game. Well, now they're playing either on December the 31st in Arlington or January the 1st in Miami, New Orleans, or Pasadena. I think I'm right. Is that right?
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, so you're playing one of those in that 24-hour window. And what if you win? I mean, you could easily lose, right? I mean, you play Georgia or Ohio State or somebody. I mean, that's a losable football game, obviously. But what if you played Indiana and you won, 27-24? Well, now you're playing again in 9 more days, 8 more days, 9 more days, whatever the case may be, 8th or 9th. One of those 2 days you would play again. I just think the calendar gets problematic for both him and for a school that is waiting on him. I think that's a problem. I don't know how you could justify that if you're sitting in the room at one of those places. And then the other thing I have, here's a question for you. Is it possible that we're looking at the wrong school, that this isn't all about Florida, that this might be about LSU? Is that even possible?
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's possible. Haven't heard that, but sure. I mean, anything's possible in today's world.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling anything out at that point.
Yeah,
So, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in a second.
I'll
First,
throw
go ahead.
One more at you. And there's the other thing, like, people make jokes about it, and I have no idea. Like, I have no idea whether Lane Kiffin is interested in coaching in the NFL again. No clue. Is it possible that he's waiting to see what opens up in that realm? I don't know the answers to those things.
But here's the problem with that is he would have outs for the NFL. Like, Ole Miss would give him NFL outs in his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, so it like that part doesn't that defies logic to me on why you wait, because if the Dolphins come calling, you just go, hey, congratulations, and we'll be pulling for you on Sundays.
And from a legacy standpoint, leaving
that doesn't
here
hurt him in the slightest.
Leaving here to go coach the Giants, everybody here just becomes the biggest Giants fan of all time, and they miss
God.
it.
Yeah.
People talk about, hey, do you remember when Lane did this? And
yeah.
Him leaving to go to Florida, where Ole Miss plays Florida next year, is a completely different animal. And I don't know.
No, there would be some almost like Arkansas Houston Nut energy coming out of that. So that's not.
Yeah, I would hate that. That would be the part that, because I think all the growth and stuff that a lot of people outside like to make fun of and go, it's not real. It's not real. I actually think it's very real.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions, newalbanypharmacy.com. You can find them in New Albany at 140 Fairfield Drive, 662-539-7777. Family owned, excellent service, gifts, all ages, home decor, jewelry, and more. Got Christmas coming up, little stocking stuffers, things like that. Great products for that. Tried out a few this past weekend. Tell them you heard about them from MPW Digital and get 15% off any non-medical purchase. Again, that is 662-539-7777.
We're brought to you by John Edwards Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. Listen, if you're trying to plan a trip that you want to create a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and then let him do his work. It's 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve. At Corinth Dental, Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From advanced treatments to routine checkups, including implants and Invisalign. Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Have a mailbag to you tomorrow. It's brought to you by my friend Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you as a licensed agent with Sotheby's, supporter of all things Ole Miss. Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, so call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Now we have bets on Twitter where I think people are betting their ARs against each other. It appears.
The weapon AR?
That is correct, yes.
Oh.
The weapon. You want to put yours up for gambling purposes too?
It's sitting over in the chair in the corner.
In the chair, yes. The corner. Yesterday it was what we're called big fella, big guy, all those type things. I appreciated all the comedy, by the way, over the course of the last 24 hours. It is what it is. I do have a new pet peeve though, real quick, before we get out of here. And I'm sure going to insult like 20% of the people in the stream. That's fine. I love all of you. Listen every day. If you're going to have anything more complicated than the most basic deposit, go in the freaking bank and don't use the drive-through. I'm a go-in bank person. I like going in the bank. I have a favorite teller. I'm an 87-year-old man, and I fully admit it. I do. I like going in the bank, signing my deposit slips, grabbing a handful out the way out the door where I can do them in my car before I walk in, and I do. I have a favorite teller. I yesterday thought I was in a hurry. I had a podcast when I screwed up with the soccer coach thing, and I said, hey, I got to run by real quick. Let's do the drive-thru. It'll be faster. This cat in front of me was in the drive-thru, only one car the entire time for over 15 minutes. It's like, if you have anything other than handing them a freaking check to deposit, go in. They should make you go inside, frankly. When you say what you want, they should go, that's an inside transaction.
Yep.
Yeah, you fill out no paperwork outside. That's not allowed. Go in.
I'm glad you're getting this off your chest, because I have one that I've been wanting to get off my chest, and I've kept it inside, and now I'm going to let it out.
Okay.
When you go to a basketball game or a football game and you have a parking pass on your phone, have it ready. Know where you're going before you go. Also, when you get off of the interstate on a merge, you don't stop at the top of the ramp. You merge. You merge. You know where you're going before you go.
You're getting that a lot out of your neighborhood off onto 7 too, because everybody just stops right there on that off ramp or that off. Whatever.
Chase, it happened on Saturday, and the dude stopped. There wasn't a car. The closest car coming on 7 was a half mile away, and he just stops. What are you doing? Like, I literally almost had a wreck because I was like watching it go. I'm like, well, we're going to go. I mean, I was like, I think I'm going to be able to get in. And he just stops, has no idea how it works. Don't drive if you don't know what you're doing. Just put the car away and get a bicycle or play in traffic. Stop. But man, the parking pass thing, know where you're going. And we're this
put it in your Apple Wallet or whatever your phone does.
Yes.
I'm not anti-Android anymore because I'm contemplating converting. But whatever your phone is, go ahead and have it ready. Have it sitting there, and they scan the top. They don't do the screenshot. It's the top. So they just put it up against it, be ready, and move on. That is what you do.
And we're this far into the season. You'd think we'd have figured this out by now.
No.
And every single week, I'm like, I cannot believe that this is the cluster that it is. This is so. Because in my mind, there's a way this works, and it's easy. And then you get the guy that doesn't have a parking pass. He doesn't even have one. And he pulls up like, okay, think about this for a minute. What makes you think that without a pass, you're going to be able to drive right up to the stadium? You should know better by this point. And so then he stops, and he argues with the guy.
They have to stop everybody else to let him turn around, and they do that whole deal. And
after he argues for 10 minutes that he should be able to park there, and then he's asking the guy who very clearly doesn't know well, where should I go park? And that guy's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just here to scan things. I'm not, what do I look like? A tour guide? Yeah, I have problems with that. I struggle with, I lose. I always start the day in a really good mood. And by the time that happens, my mood has flipped. And then I have to get back into a good mood again.
Mac Attack, thanks for super chat. Let's pull OPD on a show to talk about the 7 South zipper merge. Drives me crazy. People back traffic up to the 6-7 intersection. We could have a show with we know people. We could probably do that. Matt says from someone who swapped. The main downsides, if you do AirPods, you need the Samsung Buds for Android, and then you can't text from your MacBook if you swap to Android. There's got to be a third-party app that does that, right? Has to be a third-party app. I do not believe any different.
I think you're playing with fire. I think you are going to the problem shop and going, I'd like the biggest one you got. That's what I think.
Because for whatever the small improvement, you think I'm going to have a couple oh my gods in there somewhere.
1,000,000%. And as much as you use your technology,
I
think you're walking into the problem shop and they say, hey, welcome to the problem shop. And you go, I want the biggest one you got.
Okay.
That's what I think. And then when you put that big problem in the back of your car and take it home, you're going to go, oh my God, I bought a big problem.
Yeah, but my phone will flip. It'll flip.
Again. I'm just telling you, do what you want to do. Hey, I'm here for you no matter what, but just know that when I don't say I told you so, I'll be thinking to myself.
The aggression that I'm getting from people when I mention this is so fierce. I mean, 3 or 4 people that, disown.
I mean, it's just, for someone like you who kind of makes a lot of rational decisions, this is borderline stupid. But it's your right to do it, and I'm not going to be the guy that goes, you can't do it. Yeah, you can, sure. But you're going to have issues. You use glasses to record. You're on your phone all the time. You're inviting chaos.
Jared says the flip is just another thing to tear up. So
just go upgrade your Apple, buy the biggest, nicest one, and be done with it.
I don't want the biggest one. I want to be able to text with one hand. I don't like the biggest one.
That's what she said.
It doesn't fit.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very rare you get to use it twice. Just boom, boom. You're asking, like, you're doing the Michael Scott thing where Jan says you can't say that anymore, and then Jim just prompts him. Oh.
Basketball tonight, 8 o'clock from the Pavilion. Coverage, rebels247.com. Brought to you every single basketball game by Funky's on the Oxford Square. Pizza, daiquiris, the whole deal. So head on over. Let's watch some basketball. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Whatever else comes from the football situation as well. So, hey, sorry about the YouTube issues. That was completely YouTube. Had nothing to do with us. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow, guys. Take care. See you then.